Hey guys, in today's Bricks tutorial, I am going to show you how you can use happy files and actually query the media library on a folder basis. So you can make a gallery and actually just select which folders you want to appear in the gallery. And today we're going to do it in a nestable tabs element. So you have one folder for one tab and another folder for another tab and so on and so forth. This is a really cool way to do this and to make it easy for the client to actually organize their folders and files, and so they don't have to go and use the editor and things like that. So yeah, that's what it's going to be all about today. I just want to mention that this is a real project for a real client, and I got a lot of help from the Brick support team, which is really amazing. So Jenn from the Brick support team helped me immensely on this. So shout out to Jenn and thank you so much. But yeah. So let's get into it. This is actually a site that I'm working on for a client right now. He's a photographer, underwater photographer, and we are making like a gallery. He wants to show off his gallery, his portfolio from different categories of photos. And right now it's just demo AI photos that I used here. But the thought behind everything is that it would be great if you could have like a little preview of the different kinds of images that he has, the different kinds of photos. And then you could actually click on one of these. You get like 3 images for every single category. And then you can go ahead and click on see all photos of the cute cats, and then you'll get to that gallery on a sub page here. And then you can still stay on this sub page, on the portfolio sub page, and you can switch between the different categories of these, and you can even go ahead and see all of them at the same time here. And of course, this just looks like nestable tabs where everything is static here. You just put in the different images here in a grid, but actually that is not the case. The case is that if we go to the media library, I actually get all of the images from the media library. I actually query this portfolio folder that I have right here, which, by the way, and this is the whole point of this video, is coming from the plugin called Happy Files, which is a plugin where you can organize your media library, not only your media library, actually also posts and different kinds of things into folders. And this is the same author. This is the same guy who makes bricks that made this one here. So and I just bought this and I installed it on all the client sites, all the different projects that we do. And then one day I found out, like, let me just show you in a second here, that actually we do have, if I type in gallery here, we have Happy Files. There's actually, when you install Happy Files along with bricks, there's an element here called Happy Files Gallery that I can insert here, and then I can go ahead and I can, oh, that's not the right place. I wanted to put it in just for example purposes here. I can go ahead and I can select the folder from the media gallery. And I can say, take the cars one here, and then I can say, how many columns do I want? How many do I want to show? And all of that stuff. So that made me think, okay, can I actually go ahead and query the media library with the query loops built into bricks? So that would be really interesting if that was possible, I thought. So that's what I've done here, and that is exactly what I'm doing if we go back to this one here. So if you click on the all button here, you'll see everything that is inside the folder. So you will see everything that is inside the portfolio folder and all of the subfolders. Like right now, there's nothing inside the portfolio folder, but there are something inside the children of those, the subfolders. So I have everything divided into folders or categories. One category per folder, you could say. So cars and houses and cute cats. So the idea is that if you click on all of them, you'll just get a gallery of all of these things. And if you click on the cars, then you are going to be able to see everything that's inside the car folder. And this is a really cool way to avoid using other things if you don't need it. Like, for example, ACF Pro has a gallery thing that you can query from. And maybe you don't need that. Maybe you don't want to go ahead and set all of that stuff. Maybe you just want the client to be able to easily update their portfolio, their gallery by themselves. And everybody knows how, or most people know how to use a computer and how to organize files into different folders and name folders and things like that. So this is a really nice user interface for most people if you just want to create a gallery. So what you want to do here, if let's say that we just want to create a new folder, I'm just going to go ahead here and I'm going to create a test folder, and then I'm going to just create it. And right now it's just in right now apparently I Oops, I created it in here. I'm just going to go ahead. I don't want to do that. Well, whoops, I'm just going to move this folder out to the root if I could. Here we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to populate this with some images here. So I'm just going to go into my uncategorized here and just find a few images that I'm just going to pop into that one. Something like that, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 images, and I'm going to pull it in to the folder, into the test folder here. And right now, if I go back here and I reload the page, you will not be able to see it here. But the moment that I actually pull it in and I put it inside the portfolio here, I will be able to see it. So right now, if I just go back here and I go ahead and do this, you can see I have the test folder right here. And not only do I have the test folder right here, it is also ordered. So if I take this test folder and I move it down as the last item here, we should see when we reload the page here that it is the last item here. And this is a really cool way, I think, for organizing things, and it's very easy to do. So let me show you how I have built this. All right, so what I've done here is just I created a brand new page, and we're just going to start from scratch. And what we have is actually, what we're using here is a nestable tab. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert one of these nestable tabs right here, because we want to have a gallery in each tab, and it comes with this. And let's just examine what this looks like a little bit. You can see we have inside, actually I want it inside the container, that's it right there. And then we have the tab menu, and we have 2 titles. We have title 1 and title 2. Inside here we just have a basic text, and then these different titles will link to the tab content and show the different panes here. So if we just go ahead, let's just try to save this one and just open it up here. You can see it just, you know, it works as you would expect it to. But what we want to do, we want to go ahead and we want to query the media library and get a tab for every single folder that we have inside the portfolio. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. And then maybe we're going to style it up a little bit later so it looks a little bit better. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is delete one of these, because remember, we're going to query these and populate them from the media library, so we're only going to need one to begin with anyway. So we're just going to loop over this. So now we have one title and with a text inside here, and then we have a pane with some rich text as well. So the first thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and query this folder called portfolio here. And in order to do that, we need to, of course, go in here and we're going to turn on the query loop on the title here, on the tab, because that's the one we want to repeat for as many folders as we have. So inside, we're going to do that here. And then inside, you can click this little icon right here. And then you get all these options that you can, let me just make it a little bit wider here. And let's go back. There we go to the query. And what actually is it that we want to query? Well, it's not posts, it's not users, it is terms, because this is a term. The folder name is a term. So what we want to do is select the taxonomy, because we can select what kind of term we actually want to query here. And it's not surprising, it is the folder, because we are talking about a folder. This is something that comes from Happy Files, right? So, you know, this is what we want to query. So that's exactly what we want. You can set all the different other things here, but we want to figure out what's actually going on. Right now, I can see already I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me go back to the media library, and then I can go ahead and I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I have 8 folders totally or something like that. So that is actually what's happening here. But we don't want that. We only want the folders that are inside of this portfolio folder. Well, then we have to figure out what ID does this portfolio folder have. If you click on this little icon up here with the details, you will see that you get some extra information here. And here you actually get the ID number of every single folder that you have here. So I can see that my portfolio folder has ID number 5. So if I go back in here and I go ahead and I can see right here I could use parent or child of. I want to use parent because I want to show all the folders that has the parent of ID number 5. So if I go ahead and put in 5 here, immediately you can see that I actually only have 3 tabs here, which is perfect because I only have 3 folders inside my portfolio folder. So that probably works. Let me go ahead and save this. Then of course we would like to show what is the actual name of the folder in here. And in order to do that, we need to go into this one right there. And right now we only have title 1. What we want to do is find the term name here. So I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to click on terms. And then right here, I have the term name. So that is what's going to be in there. So now you can actually see it: updated cars, cute cats, and houses. I'm going to save that. And you can see that everything seems to be working right now. If I click it here and I look at the front end, you know, I got these 3 different things. And I can go ahead and I can try and take this test folder and then just put it inside the portfolio and go back here and reload it. And I can see now that has been added here. Maybe you noticed that it was added to the end of it. That's because we haven't yet set how this should be sorted. We'll do that later. But you can see that it works now. It's taking all the different folder names and populating it here. So let me just go ahead and remove this again up here so we don't have that. So maybe you noticed when I'm on the front end, I have the 3 tabs here, and they all look fine and great. But the content down here, I only have 1 pane. I have 3 tabs, but I need a corresponding content pane for each tab that I have in order for this to work. So we don't have that right now, and that is because if we go back to the editor, to the builder, we only have 1 here, and that is not dynamic either. I'm gonna need 3 of them, and I'm going to have to go and do exactly the same thing as I did with the title here. So if I look at that one more time, I can see it's terms, it's folder, attachment for the taxonomy, and the parent of the folder with the ID of 5, which is the portfolio folder. So I go back to the pane here, and then I activate the query loop. I go and edit the query loop. I tell it that I want terms once again, and taxonomy should be the folder attachment, and then I want the parent 5 here. All the folders that had the parent of number 5, and that should hopefully work. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back here, and now you can see that I actually have, there's some content right here. It doesn't change because it's the same, because it's just the same text item here just being repeated. But if I go in here, let's delete this, and let's just insert some dynamic data. Again, I am looping over the term, so let's have a look at the term name right there. Let's save that, go back and have a look. And now you can see that it is mirrored here. So if I click cars, cute cats, houses, that's what I get right here. So far so good. Now we of course want to have some images. We want to show the images from the different folders and the different tabs, in the different panes. And I'm just going to keep this rich text. Just maybe we want to add an image description or something like that later. So I'm just going to wrap this one in a block. And this block I am going to call image loop, because that is what we're going to loop with a query as well. I'm going to keep this one as I said, and I'm going to add an image here, and I'm going to pull that in right there on top of the other one. So now it's time to go ahead and with the image on top here. I want to go ahead and I want to loop this one here. So I'm going to activate the query loop again, and then I'm going to go in here. But this time I don't want, it's not a term. It's actually a post, because every single image in a media library is actually a post with an attachment. And that's what I want to go ahead and do. I want to go ahead and take the posts. And what kind of posts do I want? Well, I want media. And then I get some other options here. I can go ahead and I can say MIME type. That is what kind of files you actually want. So maybe you have a folder with some mixed content, some images, some PDF files. Maybe you just want to restrict it so people don't upload it. Maybe if you want to like show a list of PDFs for different categories in every single tab here, then you could do that, and then you could put in that you only want PDFs here, MIME types. You can check it out here, read more about it here, what kinds of MIME types you can use. So right now it's just showing all of the images that I have in my media library. I only have 10 showing here, but if I set it to more, it'll show more. So we don't want that, of course. We want to go ahead down here and add actually a taxonomy query here. And what we want to get here is the taxonomy is, of course, once again, it's a folder attachment. And because we're already inside this term loop, then I can go down here to this term and I can select term ID. So let's find terms here, and it's already there, term ID. So now I only see one here, which should hopefully work. Let's go ahead and have a look at what actually happens here. I don't see anything here, so I made a mistake, I think. Yes, I forgot to actually put in the image here. So we want to go ahead and make this dynamic as well, and we want this to be the post ID. So that is actually what is referring to the image when we're talking about images that are posts. So if I go ahead and put that one in, it's going to show some weird stuff here because we have a nested loop, a loop inside a loop here. So bricks are not yet able to do that. But when it should work on the front end. So let's save this and go back and have a look. And okay, here you can see that I get all of the images that I have in these. So let's try and click on cute cats, and I get all my cat images here, and that's great. Let's see at the houses here. That looks pretty good as well. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention here is now we don't see the term name anymore because we're inside another kind of loop. We're not inside that loop anymore. We're in a secondary loop. So I can't really use that anymore. I'm just gonna delete this rich text, maybe just insert a normal text module instead, just a basic text in here. And then we can go in here. We need to get the post. So maybe the post title, the post ID, just so we can get some data here and see if we got the right thing. I'm going to save that, and then we can try to go back and see. We should get something per. So this is the title in Danish, it says here, and post ID is 207. So everything looks like everything is connected now. But yeah, let's go ahead and style this up a little bit and make it pretty to look at. We want to have this image loop. We of course want to have a container for that. So I'm going to wrap that inside a block here. And this block we could, let's just call it the grid, because this is what we want to, like, maybe we want to use, instead of using an actual CSS grid, maybe we can go to styles here and we can use a masonry, because that looks pretty good. That's a new thing in bricks as well. And we're gonna use the masonry layout here, and because that looks good if you have images of different sizes in the media gallery. So let's see if that works. Okay, that looks better. We can switch between these as well. That looks pretty nice. That's pretty cool. We still cannot click on the images and get a lightbox gallery, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so let's go to the tabs nestable element here, and here we can set some of the styles so it looks a little bit better here. So we want a background color. Maybe I have a secondary color here. I am using, or actually we want the primary color. I'm using, what's it called? Core framework for this. Typography, we are going to just set the color to white on these. That's my text light here. And then on the active one, maybe I want the background color to be, let's just say it's going to be the secondary color, something like that. And let's give it a border. Let's just give it a crazy border, like 10 rem border, so it has round corners. And we want, of course, link all of them here. And then maybe, of course, we want to go ahead to we want to actually go to the tab menu here and put those in there. Let's just center this stuff. And let's just give all of this a little gap here. We're displaying flex, and we can find the row gap here. I'm just going to set it to rem, something like that. Oops, that should go in the column gap. Sorry about that. There you go. So yeah, that's okay, I guess. It's not the prettiest, but it's okay. It looks okay, but you have to go to the main one here in order to put this padding in here. Let me just say I just only want one rem here. Just link the opposites there. Okay, that didn't work. One rem. Okay, that looks a little bit better, right? On the active one here, I want this to be darker, of course. That makes sense, I think. So I have to go back to the tabs here, and let's go down to the active, and we want the typography in this one to be the dark color, this text dark. So that looks better now. Let's save that, have a look at it here, and that already looks a little bit better. Of course, I really don't want this border around here, so I can go ahead and I just want to see where this actually come from. There is some padding on this one. Let's see if we can find that somewhere. I think it's actually probably on the whole tabs here inside the styles layout. Oh, not really. It must be in of course it's in the tab content here, I guess. I can see I have something with 20. Okay, I think I know where it is. It's a little confusing here, but I think if we go down here in the content on the tabs nestable element itself, yeah, right here we have this. I'm just gonna set that. Gonna link all sides, and set that to 0 so we get that, and we don't want any border actually, so I'm just going to remove that here and save, and then hopefully that should look a little bit better. It's reloading. Yeah, and that looks much better. We just want to have a space between this also, of course. So yes, we're going to go to the tabs, and inside styles we can find the flex one here, and let's just give it a gap of 2 rem, something like that again, and then that should work. That should look okay. All right, that's pretty good, I think. Let's close down the dev tools again, and everything seems to be working here. So far, so good. So now we want to be able to order these by the position of the, in the media library, the position of the folder. So if I drag down cars underneath houses, that should be houses, cars, and cute cats. Right now that doesn't work, and this gets a little bit more complex. I have installed this plugin called SQL Buddy, and it's basically just a tool where you can have a look at your database. And you can delete things and change things here. So if you don't know what you're doing, then please don't do anything. This is just for demonstration purposes, and this is just for finding out what I can actually use here. So there's a table here called term meta, and that is something that comes from Happy Files. As you can see here, we have a meta key right there, and that's what we are going to search by. You can see we have it's called the Happy Files position, and you can see it has the meta values here. And this is directly correlating to the order of the terms that we have here, which are the folder names. So we can use that information. I can go ahead and just copy this Happy Files position, and then I can go back in here, and on my title, I want to go inside my query loop once again, and then I want to order this by meta numeric value. And the meta key is exactly the one that we have right here. It's called meta key here even. So Happy Files position, if I put that in here, and I am ordering it ascendingly, which is, yeah, that's the right order, I guess, that this should probably hopefully work. Let's try and save this and see. Right now, it should still be the same: cars, houses, and cute cats. But let's go to the media library, and let's take the cars and put that last. So now we should have houses, cute cats, and cars. So let's reload here, and we have houses, cute cats, and cars. So that is the way that you can make it really, really easy for yourself and the client to order this. You don't need any fancy ACF Pro gallery things or anything like that, or repeaters or anything like that. Of course, it's a great thing to use for other purposes, but this is at least a way that you can do that. So that's pretty cool. But as you see, we get the cute cats here, we get cars. The cars are houses, and houses are cars. That doesn't work. So of course we have to go to our pane here and do exactly the same thing, which means we go back here, and then here we put in the Happy Files position. Now that should hopefully work. Let's save that and go and check. So now we got houses here. That looks right. Now we got cute cats, and now we got cars. Great. We need to make all of the images clickable so we get a lightbox gallery. And I can try and do that first here. If we go to the tab content and we go to the image loop, and inside here we have the image. I can, up here somewhere, I can select link to, and I'm going to link to lightbox here, and I'm just going to try and save this. And now here, if I click on one of them, I'm going to get a link box, but you can see that there's only one here. There's not really anything going on here. I need to be able to actually change between all of these. In order for them to show up, all of them in a lightbox, you have to set a lightbox ID. And I can just go ahead and call it, let's just call it AAA here, and let's save that. And now they will be grouped into the different, with the same ID. All of the images on this page will be grouped into the lightbox, well, all of them that has this ID. So let's have a look at that. If I click on one of them, you see I have 13, and that doesn't really work because we want to group them individually. So here we have one category, and we only want to be able to browse these images in the lightbox in the category that we're actually on. So here we go from cars to to cute cats, so, and houses here. So that's not great. So we have to find some way of actually giving this a unique ID. And since we're inside a loop already, and we're inside a post loop, then we can use something called the category. Let's actually try to just type this out here, just so we can see what we have. I want to get the post terms. Whoops, I need an underscore. Post terms, and that's going to be happy files category. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, that should be an underscore as well. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's because I'm using different languages for different purposes, and I always mess up with the different keyboard types. So let's have a look at this. So here we got this. This is the, we got cars here. And that's the one we have here. Right now, this is a link because it's some sort of HTML that you can actually click on this and then you go to the category page of that. That's not what we want to do. So, but we get this one here. So this is some sort of HTML. You can see when we change this, it changes to whatever that is. So we can actually use that as an ID, but we want to filter this. So there's a filter built into Bricks there. You can actually make it plain. So you just make a colon at the end here. Whoops. And then you write the word plain. And let's save that and have a look here. And now we got this. It just filters all of the HTML. So now we can use this for our ID for the lightbox. So I'm just going to copy this one right here. And then I'm going to go into the image. And we have the lightbox here, and the lightbox ID right now it was this, so now it is set to this instead. Let's save that, and let's go back to the portfolio. Let's click on one of the images, and now you can see up here we have 4 images. So now they are grouped into the different lightboxes. So if I go to my cute cats, you can see that it's the same thing here. I have 5 images of cute cats here. So that's pretty cool. Now everything is kind of sorted like that. Now it would be also pretty nice if we had like an option, as the first option here would be showing all of them. Another thing that will be cool actually, just to think about that first, is like, what if we want to deep link into some of this from another page? So for example, maybe you would just don't want to link to this page because it's always going to be the houses that are, or the first one, whichever that one is. It's always going to be that one that is selected by default. So what if we want to link directly into cars? Then we actually need to put an ID on these titles here. Let me just show you how to do that, because we have to do that dynamically as well. We might as well do that first so I don't forget it. We need to go back into the title here, and then of course if you go to style and scroll all the way down to CSS, down here we can set the ID and we can use dynamic data here, and that is exactly what we're going to do. So we can also, like we use the category here, we can also use the term slug. So we're also already inside that loop, so we can go ahead and use the term slug. The reason I'm using the slug is because I could use the one we used before, like the category, but that like shows spaces between things, so I don't want that, because we want to, when you set an ID on an element, you don't want any spaces. So we're going to use the slug, which is the slugified version of it. So that looks like this. So now we should have this ID on every single one. Which means, let's just go to the front end and see if I can actually find this ID, like inspecting it here. And I should be able to see I have an ID right here. I have an ID of houses here. I have cute cats, and you can see this is the slugified version of it. So that seems to be working. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new page because why not? So new page here. Let's create a new page. Let's call it test links. And publish that one, publish, and go ahead and edit with bricks. Let's add a section, a couple of sections. I have something going on. That one's just gonna add a text link right here. And this text link, I'm gonna set that to, it's just gonna be a custom URL. So I wanna go to the URL of this, and that is called portfolio tutorial. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm just going to set that just like that. And then here I will be able to just, whatever I want linked directly to the tab here. So maybe I want to link to cute cats here. And that should be it right there. So that's, yeah, okay. I could make this dynamic as well if I wanted to change it like I showed you in the beginning of this video. So we link to this ID right here. So let me just, I should probably just change this one as well, cute cats. And then I'm gonna save this. And let's just have a look at it on the front end. It's just a link. If I click on that, it'll take me to that one, and cute cats is the one that's activated here. So now you can deep link into your nestable tabs like that. That's a nice thing to be able to do. Now the final thing I'm going to show you is how we create another tab here that says all, and when that is clicked, we see all of the images that are inside the portfolio. So everything that all the subfolders contain. So this is not going to be a loop because we're not going to be looping over the subfolders. So inside my tabs here, we have the title. Actually, I'm just going to duplicate this, and then I'm just going to go in here. Actually, we don't want this to be a part of a query loop. We only want that because the first title here will link to the first pane inside the content, right? And the second one, we are looping over that. So that's going to create however many folders we have, but we only need one to see all of the images that are inside the folders. So this, I am just going to go here, and instead of having the term name, I'm just going to click write all here. And of course, if we want to have an ID on this, we can go here, and we should have an ID on this. So that's just going to be all. So we can link to it from another page if that's what we want. So let me save that. Obviously, we're going to need to have another pane down here because this one is going to, actually, I'm just going to gotta put that here. And this one, I'm just going to make a duplicate of this. So now we have two. So this one we don't want to have. It goes to the content. We don't want to have a query loop on this. But what we want to do here is inside the image loop, instead of what we have inside the query. So this is still going to be post and media, and it's down here in the folder attachment. We still want to keep that. And then instead we know that we have the folder, the ID of the folder, where is it? Here is 5. So we can just add 5 here instead of anything else. And then that hopefully should work and show all of them here. I'm just going to go ahead and actually, I don't need to do that, but I'm just going to see if this works. So now we see everything that is right here. And now we only see houses. We see cute cats, we see cars, but if you click on this one, we see all of the images that we have in here. However, I'm not sure we've set this to be for the lightbox. Let's go ahead and just set that. So that would be right on the image here. And I'm just gonna all pane so I can see that that is the one. And on the image, I am in the lightbox. We're just gonna give it an ID of not this, just call it all. So that's good. So hopefully that will work. And that kind of looks like it works. So that's basically how you do that. All right, maybe we don't need these this basic text field here anymore. Maybe I can just go ahead and delete that inside this. And we also have this one. Let's see what will happen then. Hopefully that's not going to ruin anything. I still have that right there. We still have the houses, the cute cats, and all of that stuff. So now this is it. We have a gallery here where we can see all of them, and everything is based on the order of the folders. We can move them up and down. We can add new folders. I can take this test folder, put it down here so it comes after houses before cars, go back in here, and then we'll be able to, everything seems to be working. And I know what you're going to say. Maybe this is not the most efficient way of doing this. Maybe you can actually use a different approach by using query filters. I'm not going to cover that in today's video, but I might make a tutorial on how to do that because that is probably a better solution for this. But this is just to show you how you can actually query the different things from Happy Files, the media library. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will come back in the future and like and subscribe, all that stuff. See you next time. Take care.